Hi there, welcome again. In this example, we're going to start where we left off in the previous video. We start with this terrain, and we're going to add user interface to VTK Designer to help control this terrain, how this terrain is rendered and how it's visualized, and how we can add value to this terrain and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to add another form here, which is going to contain some kind of type of controls for controlling this terrain visualization. I go to Qt Designer and I have a form designed here where we have a slider bar and we have an LCD number. What I'm going to do is whenever the slider bar changes, I'm going to want the LCD bar number to show the value of the slider bar. I go to the slider bar here and I say the minimum and maximum value. So the slider is, let's say, 10 and 250, and the value of the LCD number is, let's say, 10, and it shows me a flat view of the whole thing. So what the user interface should be is, when I move the slider bar around, the new resolution is shown here, and I'm going to click on the update button, and then the terrain should get updated. So let me go back to VTK Designer here and import this particular form from the Qt Designer UI file. So I'm going to click on this and import the form. Now if you notice here on the left hand side, we have a number of areas into which I can actually import the terrain form, but I'm going to choose the right dock area, and terrain form gets loaded here. So then let's say I change this, and when I click on update, this thing actually has to get updated. So I go on to this update button, and I notice that you can notice that the scriptable objects is showing me the update button, and I double click on the clicked event. So all signals are events in the scripting anyway. So I'm going to bring this here, and instead of hard coding the value of the grid itself, I'm going to say this is terrain form dot resolution slider dot value. Okay, and then that's it. So I'm going to execute this particular script again. Now you can notice that when I change this and I click on execute, the terrain is actually getting updated. Right, can you see that? The terrain is getting updated here. Right, so it's pretty simple, isn't it? So we take the grid count X and grid count Y from this one, and then we ask the terrain to update itself, the grid to update itself. So I go here. Right, now we have a progress bar here. Let's say we want to show the amount of processing that is done by this function as the progress continues. So what we'll do here is we say terrain form dot progress bar maximum is equal to the number of points in the grid, and every time we finish a point, we report the value to the progress bar. So this way the progress bar updates itself. So this time when I change, see, it's actually getting updated. It's not continuously getting updated. I guess there's something wrong with the XGL value here, but yeah, it gets updated. Right, so now what I'm going to do here is let's say we want to have another additional user interface which says show me the high and low points of show me colored map thing here, colored map terrain. So let me go back to Qt Designer, break this layout and bring this down. We add another control here saying overlay texture. This is a checkbox, and by default the overlay texture is actually checked. Right, and we add another line to separate this segment. Okay, so I'm going to redo this entire thing, and we call this checkbox as chk overlay texture. I'm going to save this. So let me go back to VTK Designer and re-import my form. I go here and I click on this and I re-import the form now, and I get this thing. Okay, so what we want to do is, whenever the overlay texture is toggled, we want to be able to connect or disconnect this particular connection here. So I'm going to go to overlay texture and say clicked. Okay, so I'm going to say bool checked is equal to terrain form.chk overlay texture dot checked, and then we'll say if checked, then connect node texture to actor, otherwise VTK system dot disconnect node texture actor window dot render. So I'm going to update this. So now when I there's something wrong. 51 expected. Oh, sorry. It should just be variable. There's no bool. Okay. See, now the texture is actually getting updated. Right. So I can use this checkbox to overlay or not overlay the. So it's very simple to add additional user interface to VTK Designer to control your visualization. That's it for this example, and hope to see you again sometime. Bye bye.